We've just climbed the last hill on our way to the United States Navy A6 Intruder wreckage site on a lonely plain in central southern Oregon. I'm on my trip through the northwest of the United States, accompanied by my good friend Jeremy James and my daughter Kate. We've been on the road for 5 days, and being a flyer and aircraft enthusiast, this aircraft wreckage site is a highlight of the entire trip for me. On September the 19th, 1973, A6 Intruder pilot Lieutenant Alan G. Kuhler, age 27, and navigator Lieutenant Commander Philip D. Duhamel, age 33, were on a low-level night training mission out of Whidbey Island Naval Air Station in Washington when their plane crashed at this location, killing both men. The debris of the A6 is left as a tribute and memorial to Lieutenant Kuhler and Lieutenant Commander Duhamel, who perished in the service of their country. This is the first part of the wreckage that we've come across. There's another piece over there, and there are small pieces scattered all around. In fact, if I look around, I just see bits of aluminium. But the main wreckage is about a mile away, where the actual impact happened. And that's up on the hill there, about halfway to the impact site. The tail stands. So this impact was enormous, very high speed, scattered over several square miles. It's quite moving actually seeing the wreckage of an aircraft in such... the devastation is total. And in fact this is the back of the cockpit, the back of the cowling, so the cockpit starts here, and the pilots' heads would have been approximately there and there, but the cockpit itself is a mile away, which gives you an indication of how the aircraft disintegrated on impact. This is the cockpit of the A6. In fact, you can see the control column there and the ejector seat tube there. It is speculated that on a low-flying exercise, what they were doing is they were coming across this valley and overshooting this bluff, and something went wrong, probably with instrumentation giving them an incorrect altitude reading, and perhaps they were supposed to clear it by 50 feet. Who knows? They didn't clear it. And this is the first point of impact. And between here and the tail and the last pieces of the wreckage is approximately 1 to 1.5 miles. So there's a tradition in situations like this that we leave something in respect and gratitude for the pilots that were serving their country. Not my country, but their country. And so as my personal token, or in fact our personal token of gratitude, I'm going to drink some water. I'm going to give these two airmen a Coke. To our pilots.
To our pilots.
To our pilots.
Pilot Lieutenant Alan G. Kohler, age 27, and Navigator Lieutenant Commander Philip D. Duhamel, age 33. We thank you for your service to this country. We recognize you with these two symbolic Cokes. And we take a moment of silence now to recognize your gift to our country. Thank you, pilots.
Drink up, chaps. Drink up.
That is what I call the horny toad, which I'm pretty sure that's what that is because it looks just like a horny toad.
Could be.
Have you seen a bearded dragon?
Mm-hmm. I used to have one.
Oh, really? Always wanted one.
But the coloring is different, right?
Just hanging out.
Just chilling.
Oh, he's like, this is warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, new home.
I'm absorbing some heat.
I'm moving my hand and his head is just staying in the same place.
Do we
We'll
have?
call him Osmo.
Do they call them
That's a
bearded
cute
dragons
name.
out here?
Osmo.
What are they called?
This afternoon, I am trying my first ever live YouTube broadcast. And because we're in the middle of the countryside, we had to make sure that we had good, solid internet connection. So we actually decided to drive right up to the internet cell tower, mobile tower itself. And from up here, we can actually see where we've been over the last few days. That is the central plateau of Oregon. In the far distance, those hills in the distance there, is where the A6 Intruder crashed. And that's, of course, the crash site that we visited today. Down the middle, in the far, you probably won't see it, there's a thin, pale line. That's a series of sand dunes, and that's where we camped last night. And right there is the town of Christmas Valley. And of course, that is Christmas Valley. If you're traveling through this part of the United States, I recommend you visit Christmas Valley, but specifically I want you to go into the local store and get some supplies and look around. America is not as it appears in films. There's a piece of magic there. Just trust me, just go there. And what we're now going to do is, after we've done the broadcast, is we're going to drive back down and camp right at the bottom base of this hill. Finally, now, to dispel the rumours, I do carry a comb. The reason why I'm looking so wrecked is that, well, apart from having a fantastic day yesterday, we're wild camping, so that means no showering. I have one, I promise. No showering, and it's not common for overlanders in the US to actually carry a lot of ablution equipment with them. They wouldn't, for example, carry a shower with them unless they were in a Winnebago, large camper, that kind of thing. Even most four-wheel campers, which are the bolt-on camper product that I used last year, didn't have a built-in shower. It had a built-in water system, but no shower. Some do. I've even discovered large camping sites in the US with no shower facilities. Furnace Creek Campground. I have two things to say about it. Firstly, very, very hot. Secondly, don't come here. One of the main reasons why you come to a camping site that is established is that there will be services like a shower, which is a bit strange because most of the campers don't carry shower equipment. How many showers serve 1,000 people? 2. And it's half a kilometre that way. So I have a question. Why not? Don't Americans shower? Of course they shower. How? Well, I think it's got to do with the fact that we're overlanding, which means you go from one point to the other overland as opposed to avoid the roads. Even avoid gravel roads. That's great. The back road tracks, the tracks we were travelling on yesterday, hardly ever used. That's fantastic. But the distances in many, many places, even here in Oregon, the distances, if you wanted a shower, you could just pop along, spend half an hour and get to a town. I don't think that we've ever been more than an hour from a town where you could catch a motel and freshen up and have a shower, which is exactly what we're going to do tonight. And I'm very grateful for it because I'm feeling rather icky after a long walk yesterday. And so that is a different type of overlanding where it's not really necessary to carry a lot of ablution equipment in your vehicle. Personally, I would much prefer to continue camping and avoid motels, but not if I'm feeling like this. I need a shower and I need to freshen up.
Stopped on the side of the road somewhere in Oregon. I think we're going south. Could be wrong. To look at the amazing scenery that we've been seeing all morning.
Oregon is extraordinarily diverse. I mean, within an 30 minutes drive this morning from Castle Rock, we arrive on the open plains. We're looking now east towards the coast, and these vast open plains, snow on the mountains, and this here is permanent water. And I've been told for close to 6 months of the year this area is absolutely covered in snow. What is so remarkable about it is the diversity of landscapes in Oregon. Really quite remarkable. Never mind the landscapes. How about those cloud streets? This is glider pilot heaven.
Just a bunch of interesting shots here.
The route is taking us southeast towards the Californian border and the mighty coastal redwood forests.
Oh my word.
I think it's time for a photography lesson. There are a few places that I can think of that offer such diversity of photographic opportunity, and the great part about it is everything is still. Nothing's going to run away while you try and focus on it. The only thing that can ruin the experience is rain. Actually, maybe not. Maybe that'll enhance the experience. So when you come into an area and you say, oh, I'm going to take a picture and I want to take a memory back with me, I want to, because it's an impression, isn't it? So you come into a place and there's an impression here of giants, height, peace. So when you come into a place like this, you want to, portray that, take that away with you. So here, obviously, it's the giants are very tall. So how do you express they are unbelievably, they are exquisite creatures. Wide-angle lens is the obvious choice because then you get perspective. The thing is with wide-angle lenses, they often they converge the verticals. So everything faces in, which can sometimes look quite unnatural with very wide lenses because they tend to curve the edges of the frame. So a fisheye lens will be effective, but it won't really give you the feeling of height. I don't have the answer to this, but what I'm trying to do is do a mix of things. So for example, I walked around that tree there, very, very big one, there's a path around it, with the Osmo pointing upwards to again try and get a feeling of height. Because I held the Osmo like that and walked around, the tree is this side all the time, and I walked around it, keeping it in a stationary position while I walked around the tree. so the bottom of the frame will always be the tree, walking all the way around it to try and give this depth. But because there was only one tree and it was in the center of frame, I'm hoping it won't be bent. I don't know if it'll work. Maybe it will. The other obvious thing is when you look at this glorious light being filtered through the trees are the opportunities for macro photography, particularly if your lens can open up to quite a wide setting so you get a lovely depth of field. So that's what we're doing today. We're taking advantage of all of these different elements. The light in such a forest almost always is wonderful, and that's because the ground is quite dark. Very little light bouncing off the ground, coming up. And the canopy above us means that there's not a lot of light bouncing around from above. Most of the light's coming in through sideways, which is what we always want, because think about the light at sunrise or sunset. It's more interesting when the light is subdued and low. But here we're getting the best of both worlds, because not only is the light subdued, because of the canopy and dark, we're getting soft shadows. The shadows aren't deep and heavy. We're not getting ugly shadows on faces. Everything is flat.
It looks like it's falling.
This is bear country. I was thinking how amazing it would be to spend the night here, because then we could find out if a bear and settle the question once and for all.